Hello everyone, welcome to my first bread video. Today I will show you how to make a pata, which is like a French loaf. And here is 210 grams of plain flour. I have used Prima, and it's something you can get easily at our grocery stores. This is 1 gram of yeast that's added into the flour. 1 gram is also about half a teaspoon. And this is 4 grams of salt. It's like almost 1 teaspoon of yeast, salt rather, sorry. So you mix it up together, mix it up evenly. After that, this is 145 grams of water. Pour it in. And you can start mixing with a scraper. Just move the flour and the water around until everything is evenly incorporated. There shouldn't be any dry bits of flour at the bottom or the sides of the bowl, so keep scraping. If you don't have a scraper, you can use a wooden spoon or some kind of spatula. Most people would actually start kneading the dough now, but we need a little bit of patience for that. So we will just let you can see there are still some dry bits of dough. I'm still waiting for the dough to hydrate, so the water will slowly start to permeate throughout the dough, and very soon it will come together into a nice ball. Okay, you can start using your hands now if you want to. See, I'm pressing up all the dry bits of dough. I'm just pressing it in. Okay, this is not a very wet dough, so it's possible to clean up the bowl. Okay, now you see that it has come into a rough shape of a ball, and it's a bit of a shaggy looking dough. It's okay, so now I'll leave it here for 3 minutes, and later I'll come back to knead it. Alright, so 3 minutes is up. Let's take a look at the dough now. I'll remove it and put it on the table. It's not necessary to add flour to it. Okay, now you can start kneading. You can knead by pulling the dough into the center, making it like a tight ball. Okay, so you can see it's starting to form a ball, and you can repeat the action. Okay, the purpose of resting earlier for 3 minutes was to fully hydrate the dough, and then you actually have better gluten development. You can see it's already forming. It's starting to develop a sheen on the dough, so you can continue kneading for a few more minutes. This is a very small piece of dough, so there's a technique called the slap and fold, which I didn't use here because the piece of dough is a little bit small. So if you want to slap and fold, it kind of looks like that. And you can throw it down and fold it, throw it down, fold it, throw it down, fold it. But you don't really need to do that. Okay, you can continue kneading. The key is to handle the dough lightly. You see, it doesn't really stick to my hands. And I'm not really pushing it with my palm either, so it doesn't stick to my hand. I'm really touching it with my fingers. Okay, at this point you can see the gluten starting to develop. Okay, dough still tears, but it shows that it still needs to be kneaded some more. Okay, at this point, if you think that you have something to do, you can actually let it rest again for another 3 to 5 minutes, which I will do now, and I'll come back and knead it again later. Okay, so 3 minutes is up. Just take a look at the dough again. I'm going to remove it from the bowl. Okay. So let's do the same process again. Let's start kneading it by pulling it to the center. You can see that the dough looks much smoother now. That rest actually helped develop the gluten, so there's no need to keep kneading the dough and getting the dough very warm, because if in our weather it's already very warm, so this is one way we minimize that temperature rise in the dough. So you can see now it's really starting to develop without all that muscle needed. In fact, you don't really need strong hands to make bread. You can see it's starting to develop into a nice soft ball. And just have a go a few more times. See, the surface is still slightly sticky. It's alright, just keep going. Okay, I think the dough is ready now. I'm not doing any kind of window pane test where you stretch the gluten like that. I can actually show it to you now. The gluten is actually quite well developed now. Okay, so let's make it back into a nice round ball. Okay, so one reason I don't put flour on the table is so I can have enough tension on the dough. I'm actually creating some tension on the dough. Okay, so let's put it back into the bowl, and I'm going to let this proof and I'll come back later. Alright, so now the dough has proofed for slightly over 1.5 hours. You can see that it has almost doubled in size, and if you just give it a gentle pat on it, you can feel that it's light inside and airy. So we can use a scraper and gently scoop it out onto your work surface. You can see these strands here. It shows that the gluten has developed. Now I can flour my work surface lightly. Okay, what am I going to do now? I'm going to give it a rough shape into like a ball-like shape. You can see that there are bubbles and you can press them out. Okay, so now we have to leave it and let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. We'll be back later. Alright, so I have rested the dough for slightly over 10 minutes. Right now I'm going to shape the dough. The reason why you let it rest is so that the dough becomes more extensible and you are able to shape it better. Okay, it's a little bit stuck. Okay, so just pull it into like a small rectangle. Give it a little pat to get rid of any large bubbles. So we're going to make a batard. So it's like a shorter, it's like a short and thick French loaf. So I will fold this here. Looks like a triangle. Fold this in the center. Now you can see the two ends here. I'll fold this in again. Now I will pull this down in the center. Okay, you might not be able to see there from the side. So now it looks like that. And you can see that I'm using my hands, creating tension on the bread. Press down with your palm. Okay. Now we have a nice looking batard. You can pinch off the... Okay, right now I will just let it proof for maybe another 45 minutes. Alright, I said 45 minutes earlier, but checking on the dough, after half an hour it's ready now. So now it's time to score the bread, and I'm using just a razor blade. You can hold it you know, just by on its edge, and just maybe I'll do it from this side. So just hold the bread gently and go down. Okay, and you can see that I have scored the bread. So right now I'm going to put it in the oven. Okay, I'm going to put it in a small oven like many people have, but I've modified the tray setup. So I've put like a double tray on it so that the bottom doesn't get too hot and burn the bread at the bottom. So I'll leave it inside here like that, and I'm going to put it in the oven. Okay, so here's my oven. Okay, I'm going to load the bread in. And I'm going to mist the oven. I'm going to spray the oven generously with lots of water. Maybe about 10 seconds or so. Okay, I'm going to close it. And maybe I'll give it half an hour. Okay, so now the bread has just been taken out of the oven. I left it in there for 35 minutes or so at 220 degrees Celsius. So look from the side. Look, there's a good ear. You can grab it by your finger. You can look from the front, from the side again. So you can absolutely make decent bread with everyday ingredients. Don't need a fancy oven. I did not use a baking stone, and it was just a small Tefal oven which cost less than $150. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.